How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the GameSpeak episode 18. Am I off an number? 18. All right.
14.
I am your host. I don't do that. You're gonna fuck me all up. I am your host,
Well,
Snoop603. Joining
kinda.
me. Hey, you shush. You wait till I fucking introduce you.
Shut your mouth, Ethco.
Joining me as usual, guest, our co-host Epona, Scanner Barkley, special guest returning, Johnny Aspro, JonnyEthco. You have many names, sir.
I know, yeah. I like an idiot. I never decided on one, so I just used them all.
I've been calling people Bill lately, so Bill will do. Thanks for coming on the show, Bill.
I'll take that. I'll take Bill. Bill's fine.
Nice.
So this week we got a bit of a mixed bag. We're gonna divvy it up a little bit. We have some leftover topics when we had John on last time that we didn't get to. They were specifically geared towards him, but unfortunately the stream shit itself and we weren't able to finish. So we're going to cover those. We've got just a couple of general questions we're going to throw at him, talking about everything that goes on with what he does with his own channel, and then everything with the Hake and Jed crew for Battlefield Friends and the whole 9 yards. And then we have a couple of topics from the forums this week. Very, very light this week on episode or forum topics from the community, but it is what it is. I didn't really push it, and I think a lot of people forgot. It's okay. We'll make up for it. We're actually going to jump into one of the forum topics first because I want to get...
First we're going to jump into the forum upgrade that Jess spent the entire weekend on.
Okay. All right. You're right.
Shit.
There's a format to what we're doing, and I forget it every time. Okay.
It's fine.
No.
She's fishing for praise.
She is. She deserves all the praise in the world.
Here's the thing. There's like a double-headed beast that controls Dawnbreaker. One is Snoop, who deserves no praise, and one is Jess, who deserves all the praise plus extra praise for putting up with fucking Snoop.
Thank you, Scanner.
No, this is true, because I think everything must be repeated to me 4 or 5 times.
10 maybe.
Well, that's for like the special occasions when I'm especially retarded.
Okay.
But on average, I'm only half retarded, so it only takes a couple of goes before I get it. I think
Jess does seem like the one who has her shit together.
She does.
Thank you, Johnny.
I think it's the glasses and the headband. They say I got my shit together.
Headband means not fucking around.
Exactly.
For business.
So for anyone that doesn't know, we have a Patreon page. It's been kicking ass, and one of the goals we recently surpassed was the $600 a month goal, which got us our Zen 4 upgrade for the forums.
Zen 4.
And it took us a little while to get there, but we got it. Jess spent way too much of her time this weekend getting it set up. So all you fuckers better be super appreciative of what she did for you all. And
guys, it's so nice. Like, I forgot, I used to be an admin over on Battlefield. I don't know if you guys remember that, with President and JRB and all those guys. But we use Zenforo for the whole site, not just the forums. And oh my god, it's just got so much good shit. Because we have private messages are in there now. You get alerted to your private messages. It's right up there in the top right. You get alerts. So if someone replies to you or likes your post, you get a little boop, a little pop-up, and a little notification up in the top right.
I like pop-ups.
Exactly. It tells you, and you can just go right there. I'm like, oh my god, what were we doing before? Scrub life. And there's trophies. So if you get a certain amount of likes or if you post a certain amount of posts, you get points and you get trophies, and then you can accrue like these titles. I gotta put cool trophies and titles in there now for the good shit, but right now it's just the default. But it's fun. It's fun and it looks nice, and if you're a moderator, it just is so much easier to navigate things. So definitely go check it out. It's I'll put it in the chat. It's dawnbreaker.com/forum. And there's a little bulletin to explain. It was so convoluted to get working because we had a little a ghetto little WordPress plugin, BBPress, as our forums last time.
You can say I. There was no we in this. I did nothing. It's all you. Take all the credit.
So Zenforo can't import all of that from BBPress because it's so simple. So I had to import it. I had to install a new forum system that's not Zenforo or BBPress. I had to export BBPress, import it into the new forums, and then I had to export those new forums, and then import that into Zenforo for it to keep all the posts and all the users and everything. So it was a freaking nightmare. And we, if you had custom avatars, those are gone. I apologize. And you just have to reset your password when you log in. The login should be synced on both the site, like the WordPress part of the site, which is, the homepage where all the other pages are, and then on the forums. You just have to reset your password. It doesn't have to be the same password. But the first time you log into the forums, just get a new password, and then whenever you log in to one or the other, it should keep your login on both sides. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, but it's working, and it's working nicely. I still have to style it and put all our cool stuff on there, but it's working, and they're pretty active, relatively compared to the old forums already. So
Yeah, they're fancy as fuck
definitely
too.
check it out. It's very nice, and it was a lot of hard work. And thank you again to Patreon supporters for making my life so much easier now for using the forums. And
Yeah.
I'm just very excited, so I had to talk about it.
No, it's fine. And I screwed up. I keep forgetting about the format. The other thing I wanted to mention, the Patreon specifically, dude, it's still kicking ass. I believe we're at 31 supporters. Jess, if you could please put a link in the description, would greatly appreciate it. And last I
Chat,
checked,
mate.
chat. What did I say?
Description.
Yeah, my bad. Thank you. See, I've got YouTube on my brain all the time. 31 patrons, 727 a month. We're kicking ass. We've updated it. We talked about it for a couple weeks, but we're kind of ironing out the last little details and wrinkles. We added more goals. Originally, I think the original goal for the next one up was going to be 1,200 a month. We put a mid one in there at 900 a month. And that is going to be huge. Cannot wait to get that done because that is going to greatly benefit the site and help things get up there a lot faster. We're going to be able to bring in people to help us out with all the behind the scenes stuff. So everything gets done more quickly. Everything's a lot more streamlined. We're going to have people going to definitely rely on a regular basis. It's going to be good all around. So we're at 727. We're trying to get to 900. We're almost there. Hopefully, if you guys can support us, we would greatly appreciate it. But that's it, I believe, for pre-stream announcements. So, like I was about to say before I was told that I fucked up yet again, for forum topics, we're going to take on the obvious elephant in the room. This one's from Chaos, and as he so eloquently put it himself, this is kind of obvious one, but no one has posted anything yet. Everyone's first impressions of Battlefield Hardline, what they got right, what they got wrong, etc. Even touch on the future of the game based on its current launch status. I'm going to shake things up. Usually I always hand it off to someone else, but I'm going to jump on it. What I was talking with John before everyone was kind of ready, right before the podcast started, one of the standout things that I've noticed from the past couple of play sessions with Hardline is that the people I'm playing with, and it's a mixed bag. Like, not everyone I play with is like, super negative about it beforehand. Like, there's some people that are fucking super stoked on it, others that were just indifferent, and then others were like, no, I have no hope for it. And regardless of what people's, status was or how they felt about the game prior to it launching, there's a very definitive, just going through the motions vibe, going through the air anytime we've played it thus far. With Battlefield 3, specifically that one, and even with Battlefield 4 in its early days, like right immediately at launch, there was always this general excitement about playing it. Definitely for Battlefield 3. For Battlefield 4 is a little bit more subdued because it definitely had its own issues from day one. But like with this game, with Hardline, everyone's just kind of like, doing their thing. Everyone's pretty much only there. I get the impression everyone's only there because everyone's there. If it were a matter of going out to play it on your own, I really don't think most of these people would pick it up. Or if they... I don't know. It definitely does not have this same feel to it that previous iterations did. It lacks pizzazz. I said this a lot about Black Ops, but it definitely applies to Hardline as well. It's lackluster. It's lacking that punch to it.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but have you seen
go
the
ahead.
numbers of like the PC players compared to like the console players? Console like outranks them
Dude,
by like at least like 15,000 people. And I think that's because, well, one, consoles, like, I don't think the console crowd gets a lot of games nowadays, and they don't have the same options as the PC crowd. But yeah, also, I feel like the PC crowd, there's so many better options for first-person shooter games available right now.
Yep.
Like I guess that, like, in Hardline, they tried to add in those, like the competitive modes, the rescue and the VIP mode or whatever.
Crosshair.
Obvious Crosshair. I'm sorry, I always call it VIP. But that seems to me like an obvious reaction to Counter-Strike.
It is.
Like it was like, oh, they saw Counter-Strike was popular and they were like, oh, let's replicate that. But they didn't get why Counter-Strike is possible. Like is popular. Counter-Strike's popular because Counter-Strike is fast. Or it seems faster than what the Frostbite engine can offer. Tick rate and all that crap. I don't know, everything just runs smoother.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Speaking to those numbers, the most recent I saw was actually today, and the PS4 alone is tripling the number of active players that PC has.
That's crazy.
I saw it was like 20 something thousand or 26 some odd thousand for PC at the current number, and the current number for PS4, and it was this morning at like 8 a.m. our time. For PS4 is like 74,000.
Question.
It's insane. Yeah.
If you have a PS4, if that's your primary format upon which you play games, what else do you have to play right now?
Exactly.
And
Battlefield 4,
not being a dick
Grand Theft
about
Auto
it.
5.
Not doing PC's better, we've got more fucking variety or whatever. But I'm just saying that it's like console owners are getting slightly left out in the cold right now when it comes to interesting new releases that aren't remasters.
Well, that's true, because the order came out and you could complete it in like 3 hours. So they're done with that game.
I mean, the consoles just don't have a lot on them yet because they're still so new.
Yeah, I'm just glad if people on PS4 have a game that they want to play, that there's a game there for them to play.
Yeah.
Or else they'd be sat there waiting for Bloodborne.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, Bloodborne.
Tomorrow.
Don't get me started. I'm gonna geek out. Shut up. I want to play that game so bad, but it's like so much other shit I want to play. But yeah, a couple of our guys on the team got Battlefield on PS4, and they said it's fun. And that capture event we went to, we played it on PS4, and it ran pretty smooth. I never had any problems with it, and the people we've played it a couple times on PS4. And it's ran great. So I mean, I enjoyed on PS4. And it's weird because we just started navigating to PC because it's always felt like there's such a huge chunk of the Battlefield community that's on PC. We got to learn to play on PC. I'm not having a good time. I wish I could say I was, but I'm not having a good time because I am so mouse and keyboard controls are so foreign to me.
Dude, the learning curve is steep.
I know. So it's like I feel like I am incompetent. Whereas when I'm on PS4, I can hold my own because I grew up as a kid. I played Nintendo. I played Super Nintendo. I played Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2. I've always had a controller in my hand. So navigating to you got to be fast and quick, mouse and keyboard. It is so tough if you're not used to that control scheme.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
I'd recommend going back and if you're trying to get used to controls on PC, I'd recommend go back and play BF3 on PC because it's a more consistent experience.
I wouldn't even go there.
Than either BF4 or Hardline, which can be hit and miss in what you're experiencing, in my view.
What I found...
Yeah. Oh, it's super hitting.
Yeah. What I found really helped me when I transitioned to PC a little over 2 years ago now was my focus was Battlefield 3. That's the game I wanted to be as good on PC as I was on PS3. And I was pretty damn good on PS3. But the change of pace was so absurd that I would just get mad every time I hopped into it. So I tried to find something that just stuck to the very core basics, the very core keys you need for moving and playing on PC, but was still relatively fast-paced. So that's where I found a game like Chivalry Medieval Warfare. WASD, you can use F to kick if you want, but it's not necessary. And then you've got left click, right click, and your scroll wheel. And that's literally all you need, and you can do fucking everything inside that game. But it was still also really fast-paced, so while the bare minimum you needed to was really basic, it was still fast. So it was kind of like a really good stepping stone to getting into PC that was still kind of challenging, but not overly in your face challenging like Battlefield 3 was. So I'd put in a little bit of time with a more basic game like Chivalry and then go back to Battlefield 3. and bounce around a little bit because I never wanted to get mad with it. I didn't want to get frustrated, and especially didn't want to get discouraged. And that really, really helped speed up the process. You got to find, like I said, something that is basic enough that you can feel like you're doing something, but still offers some of a challenge that you're still pushing yourself in some way.
Yeah, I tried to play Counter-Strike, and I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, that game is like, I mean, you start to understand where the word comes from. Like, you have to have that twitch kind of reflex to, like, see an enemy, take your mouse, lock on the enemy, pull the trigger.
Yep.
And to me, it's difficult as somebody that's had a controller in their hand their entire time. Not to say I don't enjoy it, like my time on PC so far has been, yeah, it's like you said, like Battlefield's always a mixed bag. It's like sometimes you hop on a server and you play for 30, 45 minutes and you're like, man, those were a good couple. And then the next time you hop on a server and you just get demolished.
Yeah. Oh, what else Well, Jess, I know you haven't played a ton in Hardline right now, but what have been your overall impressions of it thus far?
I mean, I know we were talking about it earlier today, you and I, and like it's one of those games. It's like Battlefield 4 that I want to like. Like I can tell that a lot of effort was put into it, and I don't think it's Visceral's fault at all that I'm not enjoying it as much as I would like. But it's the same thing with Battlefield 4. I go in. And like Johnny was saying, you know, it's kind of a hit or miss. You can go in, if you're in with a right group of people and it's all clicking, then it can be fun. And if you're not, then it's terrible. And I was saying earlier today, like, obviously I haven't played FPS, that kind of FPS in a while, so I'm rusty. But I'm like, am I really this bad? And I'll go back to BF3 and I'll be fine. And it'll feel good and it'll be crisp and it'll just feel like... You know, and I think Snoob, you said earlier today, like in BF3 you can evade, like you can get away if you can.
Yes.
If you have the tactics, it's not just I saw you first, so you're dead. You know, you can kind of hide or run.
Yeah.
Jump.
The time
dodge.
to kill in Hardline is almost too much.
Yeah,
it's too quick.
It's too quick for that engine where you're constantly getting shot around corners and everything. Like Jess said, that was a big thing about Battlefield 3. You could evade people. Like if you got into a sticky situation and you still had full health, you could get the fuck out of there most times. You cannot do that in Hardline. You couldn't do it in Battlefield 4 either.
Yeah, I just don't like how the engine feels when you... It just doesn't feel... Ugh. I can't even explain what I don't like about it. It's just not crisp to me. Something feels off. And
it almost doesn't have any weight to it. Like Battlefield 3, I don't know, like everything felt more powerful. You know, it sounds silly saying, but everything felt like it had a weight to it. Whereas in BF4 and Hardline, you almost feel like you're floating around. If that makes any sense. I may not be making any sense.
No, you make absolutely perfect sense.
You make a lot of sense. For me, I like a quick time to kill in a game. Like, the quicker I can die or kill, the happier I am with any game. Like, one-shot kills, that's my bliss when that's the game design. But for Hardline, it's a reaction. It's a design reaction, not a design decision. They were obviously suffering with the same issues that BF4 had, being in the same engine and, you know, similar builds in a lot of ways. And rather than being able to solve it, this was the solution. If people are dying fast, then let's just make it so that they're supposed to die fast. You know what I mean? Because even if I go back and play BF4 now, which is arguably a longer time to kill than Hardline, I will still die very quickly all the time. It doesn't feel any different to me under the vast majority of circumstances. So I said it on Twitter earlier that the time to kill and the kill cam change and all this stuff are really just designed to obfuscate the issue of hit detection rather than them actually having solved anything. And for me, it's all I need to do is play one round and I can see many issues which for some reason were not present in the beta.
Yeah,
or at least
I had a lot
we're
of
not
fun
present.
playing the first beta.
Yeah, they just weren't present for me. So
Now the first beta that was wasn't that Blood Money?
Yep.
yeah,
See, here's the thing. Like Hotwire to me, it's not a $60 game.
Nope.
Like I'll say that outright, but
It's fun,
it's
though.
still fun.
It's so fun.
Like that's the thing. It's like I feel like I'm bashing the game. I'm not. Like I would still, to me in my head, I would rate the game either 7 or 8 out of 10. Like in my book, like I'm still having fun with it, and mostly because of the two modes, Blood Money and Hotwire. I love Hotwire mode. Like when you're in with all your buddies, you all hop in a car, you're chasing other cars, you're shooting, you're repairing, and like everything clicks. Like you were saying earlier, Jess, like that mode is a lot of fun. Like when you can hold a vehicle, try to maintain that vehicle, and like fight off other vehicles chasing you and trying to shoot you out. I love that mode. The only thing I don't like about that mode is the damn RPGs, because I think that actually breaks that mode. Because the RPGs, like there's an unlock you have, and you guys may have seen it when you unlock the RPGs in the cars. And they're so easily accessible right out of the gate, that completely breaks Hotwire. Because Hotwire is at its best to me when you're driving around and the action is fast, kinetic, and constantly moving. As soon as you introduce the RPGs into the game, where they're a one-shot kill, that removes all the kineticism out of the match. Because by the time you get up and running, some asshole's already shot you with an RPG. Or they're just, they're camping in a high-traffic area waiting for you to drive by.
yep.
That's
And,
I fucking hate that. Sorry,
Yeah, the RPGs just broke Hotwire. But Blood Money to me, like, I like Blood Money. I think that's a fantastic game mode. Because I like that you can, you have this center pile, and you also have the enemy pile, and you can steal money from both. Like I've had a blast playing Blood Money. But I don't know about you guys' experience.
Blood Money and Hotwire have been the two saving graces for me. Rescue, I got to play a little bit, and it's fun, but the thing that pisses me off about that is the ability to revive. It's trying to be two entirely different things, and I'm not going to go into it too much other than just saying they're trying to replicate what worked in CS:GO and what even worked in Call of Duty with Search and Destroy. But they want it to be tactical, yet they still allow revives, which kind of removes, in my opinion, the need to be tactical. If you know you can get revived at some point, you kind of throw tactics out, and you can be a little bit more just fuck it and run in. You couldn't do that in like Call of Duty, and I didn't play CS:GO, but I know it works along the same lines. You can't do it in there. You have to value your life. So it really changes that dynamic, and I feel like it's trying to be two completely different game modes based off of that one mechanic. But yeah, Blood Money, that's a lot of fun. I do hate how on some of the maps they have those battle pickups, because it's just a fucking nightmare. Specifically the Stinger on Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
I tweeted at Unitool, one of the lead multiplayer designers there on Twitter, and he was like, well, a good chopper pilot can get away, and a bad one will just die instantly. I'm like, that's not a very good reason as to why you have that thing in there. You can fire off 3 shots in the time it takes for you to only get 1 set of flares out, and it's a one-hit kill on either chopper. It's absurd. Hotwire is a lot of fun, but...
Is it?
Yep.
I feel like I've shot the chopper with the Stingers before, and it's not gone down immediately.
Every chopper I've been in that's been shot, I've died with various health, but I've also died still in one hit with 100% health on it, that's why it's really kind of stuck out to me. It just seems like it's not properly balanced. Sorry, on the smaller chopper, the scout chopper, whatever it is.
Okay, on the smaller, not on the transport.
No, the transport, I believe it's probably just a disable. But yeah, on the little one.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, on the little one, it's a one hit.
Yeah, I think they got to dumb it down. Like maybe make it to like an 80% hit, so it's still a worthwhile pickup, and you can't just have some guy up there in that thing fucking wrecking people with no way of taking them down. But a one-shot kill on that thing, when it reloads insanely quick and your flares do not reload that fast, and you have no way of repairing it until you land. But depending on where you are, it seems like there needs to be some tweaking in there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be honest. I kind of agree with the designer on that one.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm kind of on the fence. I'm with you, Scanner. I'm on the fence.
It's an exploding thing that's designed to crash into your aircraft and put you down. and you have ample opportunity to flare and just put something between you and it.
Which you can't always do though on some maps, and it doesn't always work. That's the other kicker of it. Like it even happened within Battlefield 4. You know, you'd hear the lock on, and you'd try and get behind something like Siege of Shanghai is a good one. Trying to get behind any one of those skyscrapers, which is really easy to do. And those stingers would still manage to, at times, curl around the building. And that happened to me a couple times already in Hardline alone. It's not shit by any means, but it's a flawed mechanic that makes me kind of like, okay, I feel like there's certainly room for tweaking in there.
Yeah, but that's fixing. I'd term that like I want what's presently in the game to function.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to tweak.
No, I'm being nitpicky right now.
And then I'm being nitpicky. And then go from there.
Never. Yeah, this is a nit.
This is an
I never like. I mean, I personally, I never like one-shot kills. Like they feel satisfying when you do them, but to me, they feel really game-breaking a lot of the times. Like there almost always needs to be a way to get out of the situation you're in. So I mean, the same thing with the cars. If the chopper is a one-shot kill, then yeah, I'm with you. I think it maybe should be 90 or whatever. But at the same time, like whoever's flying that chopper, if they are a good pilot, see, a lot of the times the choppers have, like chopper pilots just rush right into the middle of the field. Whereas you're better if you sort of hang back and then sort of peek in, lock on your targets, take your target out, and then get that out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You shouldn't be like able to be a flying tank.
Right.
If you're a heli, it should take timing and skill to get in and get out on each of your attacks. The same way as it would if you were about to run into a room that had 3 guys in it. You know what I mean? That there would be a price to be paid if you do that like blindly and rashly. And it like that's how balance should really work within game. The more considered your action, the higher the reward for that action should be.
Yeah.
I was trying to think there was other aspects of the game I wanted to bring up that were kind of stand out to me. Speaking positively, there's really not a whole lot that I have to complain about as far as the overall fit and function of it. It's by no means perfect. It certainly has its issues. I've crashed at least 5 times in 8 hours of gameplay just
That's
from
your
Battlefield.
System, mate.
Just from Battlefield to stop working errors, and I've gotten 1 DirectX crash. I know there are people that are having the DirectX crash pretty often. Crashing out of servers and just the game in general is still fairly common. That is still going on from Battlefield 4, but I like the weapons classes. They seem like I've got less options now than I did in Battlefield 4, but...
Oh, big time. Like, that was the one thing I noticed right out of the gate. It was like, oh, that's all the weapons?
Yeah.
Like, that's it? That's all you have access to? Yeah, I thought there were going to be a lot more weapons. I mean, Battlefield 4, it almost seemed overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like there were too many damn weapons. Whereas, like, Hardline almost feels the opposite, where there's, like, not enough.
That is one of the things I'm missing. Not a whole lot of options, but I'm okay with the guns at least we have. It's not like they're all garbage or anything. There's at least a decent enough variety going on that I'm okay. But part of me does miss the variety that we did have in Battlefield 4.
I gotta give him credit because I remember the Battlefield 4 launch and it was a nightmare. I was crashing all the time, and I think I have crashed on Hardline maybe once. And if that, I mean, I might not, that might have been just me being stupid.
Probably.
It definitely feels more stable. But, you know, that's...
Yeah, no,
my
I've only crashed maybe a couple times, if that.
There we go.
I haven't crashed. I haven't rubber banded. I haven't done anything in that nature. I just don't think it's a particularly strong title right now.
Yeah, I'm curious what they do with the DLC. You know, I think depending on how Visceral handles it, I think maybe in 2 years it'll be a nice solid title.
I don't think it's going to last. It honestly feels like a stopgap just between Battlefield 4 and Battlefront. And same thing going on with everything in the CTE. I honestly think the majority of what they're doing with the CTE, still to this day, is almost entirely for the benefit of Battlefront more so than it is Hardline. They've already announced that Battlefront's coming out holiday at the end of this year. So, I mean, we're 10 months away. No, it's March.
I bet that gets delayed, man.
Look how smart Snoov is right now.
I know. I cannot math. I thought I could math, but I can't. We're about 7 months away from Battlefront potentially launching if they stick to it. I would prefer if they delayed it because as it stands right now, it'll only be 2 years in development on an engine that DICE Sweden is plainly... they've clearly already shown that they cannot put out a solid game in 2 years on Frostbite 3. A la BF4. That's exactly what we got. Now, it has to be better. There's no way it can't be at least a little bit better because of all the improvements they've already done within it. So they can adopt all of those improvements and put them in for launch. But I distrust any big title that comes out in 2 years now. Anything huge like this. I don't see how it can possibly be a good game in such a short development window.
Yeah, no, that's what scares me. I mean, and that's the whole thing. Like, a lot of these game companies nowadays, it's like you hit on something big, and the game publishers kind of have this idea of like, oh, we have to annualize this. We have to have a new version of this game every year. And I think that's the complete wrong decision, 100%. Because what ends up happening is either one, you're not able to put out as quality a product, and then so people get pissed off because you're not putting out a quality product anymore, or two, you end up with franchise fatigue. I mean, like, look what happened to Assassin's Creed. Like, Ubisoft took that and just annualized it, and now I feel like there's so many Assassins, I can't even keep up with the franchise because there's so many of them that come out so quickly, and so you lose interest. You lose interest in, like, what could have been this awesome fucking franchise because they just run it into the ground. They're constantly just saying, like, oh, here's a new one. I don't want a new one every fucking year. You know what I mean? Games are expensive. Games are $60. Like, when it comes out, if it is new, great, but I want it to be good. Like, quit focusing on making it new and hot and fresh and just focus on making the damn thing good.
Right.
Like, my two favorite developers are honestly, like, Rockstar and Bethesda. And, like, Rockstar with the Grand Theft Auto. With Grand Theft Auto, they don't put out a new Grand Theft Auto game every fucking year.
Right. They'd say every 4 to 5
it's like,
years.
It might be 5. It might be 6 years before a new Grand Theft Auto comes out. And you know what? When it comes out, that makes it exciting. It's like, oh, yes, it's going to be the new one. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be awesome. It's not like, it came out last year. I'm not that excited about it. Bethesda's the same way. It's like, if they announce a new Fallout, that's going to be fucking great. We haven't had a Fallout in a while. I'll be excited about that. Or a new Elder Scrolls. Like, yes, okay, it's been a while. Skyrim's been out for a while. Time for a new one. Great. But it's like, if they had released Skyrim and then a year later released, like, Skyrim 2 or some other shit, it'd been like, I'm not even done playing this one.
Right.
It's like, I don't, these games are huge. I mean, even Battlefield, it's like with Battlefield 3, I mean, with Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 came out, and, like, we had just started playing. I was like, man, this game's a lot of fun. And then it was like a year later, it was like Battlefield 4 came out, and I'm like, oh shit, I just started. Like, I'm only on level 47 on Battlefield 3. Like, you didn't have time to rank up as much as you really freaking wanted to. And then, like, boom, Battlefield 4 came out. I was like, okay. Then you play for a little bit, and then it's like, oh, now Battlefield Hardline. It's like, shit, I'm still level 40 in Battlefield 4. I haven't had time to rank up all the way. And I know it's different for some people. Like, some people can play the game just day in or, every day and just play it, and rank up really fast. I would say the majority of people are not those kinds of players. The majority of people are just like, oh, I have an hour or maybe 2 hours to pick it up at night and play for a little bit. I can't rank up that fast. Sorry, I went on a fucking tangent there.
No, I
Go
loved
for
it.
it, man.
I'm not even
Depth to that
joking. The whole
response.
time you were talking there, I was looking at your little picture, and he was all animated, and he was really appealing to the rest of the guys, in his opinion. It was a true Battlefield Friends moment for me.
Yeah, I mean, it just upsets me because, like, you know, I mean, these are franchises that could be huge, and I feel like a lot of these big publishers ruin them because they annualize the damn things. Like, my whole point is just stop annualizing things. Give the developers time to make it awesome.
Right, and more importantly, well, to expand upon what you're saying, give us something worthwhile in that next title, in the continuation of the franchise. When you annualize it, exactly how much more new stuff can you put into it that makes it unique in and of itself while still being a continuation of the series? Exactly, not a lot. You're looking at, I don't know, like a, voila, thank you.
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
Something like GTA, I mean, yeah, it's still kind of the same premise, but, like, the jump in what they're able to bring to it is so significant. There is a significant change in what they're doing, and there's just improvement across the board. I think it'd be kind of... I'm not familiar with GTA, so I don't know if it's 100% improvement. I'm sure there are probably fans of the series that think, like, they took a step back here. But for the most part, it's a big enough gap that you definitely feel like you're getting something new out of this series, yet it's a continuation of what you know and love. Can't get that when you annualize something, and Battlefield is falling into that same trap. Even on a 2-year cycle, honestly, I think a 3-year cycle in between titles would be ideal, and you can stretch it along with DLC along the way. Because with the 3-year title, you know you're getting a pretty well-built game. If it isn't 100% on release, then I'm sure they'll be able to patch it up in no time. And I know that's a really terrible attitude to have, but hey, it's better than 2 years and then trying to patch it along. And then you throw in another year and a half worth of DLC. You're only looking at a year and a half or so between that and the next title. And again, you're still getting what should be a relatively quality game. Plus, it still feels new, and it's been a big enough gap they can add a lot of new stuff to it. It's worthwhile. There's meat to the thing.
Yeah, and your franchise ultimately is going to have longevity. And that's another thing. Is like, you know, like Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto, you can tell these guys are in it for the long haul. Like, Grand Theft Auto is going to be a franchise not only this year, but it's still going to be a franchise 20 years from now. Whereas, like, Assassin's Creed could fucking disappear tomorrow and no one would give a shit. Everybody would be like, good, it's been around too long. Yeah. Same thing with Battlefield. You keep annualizing Battlefield, the same fucking thing is going to happen because it's just like, I'm sick of Battlefield games. They come out every year. I'm done with it. Like, I've played it. You know, they're not innovating anymore. They're not bringing anything new to the table. I don't expect anything from this franchise because it's just a repeat of the same fucking shit I played last year.
Yeah, it's a short-sighted business model. I mean, it's a quick
super
cash
short-sighted.
Grab. Right, but
and that's why they do it. And that's all. It's like, you know, and I understand the business of it. It's like, we have to suck our shareholders' dicks. Oh, please, let's get our shareholders' dicks and put them in our mouths a little bit harder so we can just suck in them and fuck them. Stop it. I mean, they have to put their foot down. They have to put their foot down and say, no, if you really want a return on your fucking investment and you want this thing to be badass 30 years down the road, you fucking let us do what we need to do and quit forcing us to put this shit out every year.
Dude, we need you on here more often because you're a perfect compliment to me and Scanner when we get in a fucking rant. This is great.
I feel like I have found a king.
You mean you just keep you guys going? Like, you need me to throw some ice water on you guys.
No, this is great. This is
everything that I firmly believe about fucking gaming. Like, all the questions that I ask myself. If games are getting bigger and more difficult to design, then why are publishers trying to give devs less time to do the fucking work? Like, it's one of the most standout, pertinent questions to ask about the game scene, right?
It's just a short-sighted business decision. It's a super short-sighted business decision. You hit the nail on the head with that. It's just, we want to make a profit next year. And it's like, I mean, I understand that. Like, everybody has kids to feed.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, you might make a profit next year, but also guess what? Next year, you might put out a shitty game. And so the year after that, no one's going to buy your fucking game because, you put out a shitty one last time.
They've got way too much of a micro focus on their business plan. They need to go macro a little bit and think about the longevity of what their business is going to be about. Because, okay, you've got Battlefield, and it fucking worked. All of a sudden, you hit something heavy, Battlefield 3, blew up. Holy shit, hallelujah, look at all those motherfucking profits. We're going to make it rain on our corporate dumbasses. Shareholders are fucking giving each other reach arounds. Everyone's stoked. And they're like, okay, let's fucking cash in on this thing. And all of a sudden, they got Battlefield 4, and down goes the ship because you rushed it out. You're going for that short-sighted cash grab. You're trying to maximize profits. And, well, now look what you've done. Now Hardline is kind of limping out of the gate. Not bad, but it's definitely limping out of the gate. What are you going to do when you've officially burned and buried the Battlefield franchise? It's not like you can all of a sudden just say, you know what? I've got an idea that is fucking guaranteed to even outsell Battlefield 3. it just doesn't work like that. There's no real chance that you're going to be able to pick up a game.
Hold on. Jess has an answer.
And develop something that's going to work. And Jess, go ahead.
I don't have an answer. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we know the actual, like, financial numbers of what has sold? Because I feel like we, 4 of us, and a lot of people in the chat, we're like the Battlefield, like, we're really into it, but I feel like a majority of their audience is just kind of picking it up to play it. Like, my younger brother, who just got married, congrats to him, and the
Congrats
wifey.
to Bropona.
Bropona.
Ebrona.
Like,
No, Bropona's better.
I would try to rant with him about Battlefield 4 back when that came out, and he was like, huh? He was like, I like it. It's fun. Play it all the time. And I feel like there are people who kind of are just in it to kind of just play it and have fun, and aren't in it to analyze it and compare it to everything and into
that's the majority
of the. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if we're saying, oh yeah, they're ramming Battlefield into the ground. Are they doing that? Does it just seem like that to us because we're super, yay, that's the kind I like.
Sorry, Mantis asked. I know, I was trying to get your attention earlier. Go ahead. I wasn't trying to get your attention now.
I have that in cans. I should go get them.
Oh, cans.
Like, are we saying that Battlefield's getting run into the ground because we're used to something else and they're turning it into another thing? Or are they really not selling the copies? And obviously they don't have the numbers of people playing it right now, but if they sold a bunch of Battlefield 4 copies and then people didn't really play it, and then they sold a bunch of Hardline copies but people didn't really play it, do they care that people are?
No, they don't give a shit. Why would they?
If they sold it.
No, I mean, if they're still making money, they won't care. I mean, that's the thing. If the bottom line, and it probably, the business, to me, the business decision is probably, like, when you're looking to maximize profits, like, for this particular moment in time, it is probably the right decision. It's like, okay, this was huge hit. We need another huge hit right behind it. But again, it's like, there's a reason people still know what Mario is and Zelda is because when somebody puts out when Nintendo puts out a Zelda game, it isn't shit.
That's true.
They
take their time, and I mean, if you have to look at a franchise from just the perspective of, like, we want this franchise to be here for a while, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're just maybe the publishers are just looking at this and saying, man, we can make cash quick and then move on to the next thing.
Rock
and
Band.
That's a shame if that's true. Yeah, exactly. Rock Band, Guitar Hero. and it's unfortunate that publishers have that sort of habit of doing that, of, like, taking something that could be awesome and just destroying it before it reaches what I think could be its full potential. But like you said, maybe maybe it is the right business decision. Maybe they are looking for those just short-term profits. And that may be exactly what they want, but I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I guess in that sense.
Short term, it's not even shaping up to be the right thing to do, though. That's the interesting thing. It's hard to get exact numbers on the amount of copies that games have sold, but I've seen it rumored, emphasis before anyone in chat or comments fucking shits themselves, that BF3 did roughly 20 million copies, which is extraordinary. BF4 only did about 7.
That we don't know that. Oh yeah, sorry. You just did say rumor. Sorry.
Wait, repeat that?
I've seen it rumored that BF3 did about 20 million copies, and BF4 to date has only done about 7.
Well, word of mouth is important.
Yeah, one of the reasons why it's very difficult to ascertain accuracy in the numbers is because, is that really sales or is that number of downloads? Because BF3 has been on more sales for $5 and free on a street corner, a lot.
Right.
Since it's released, especially over the last year. Right. So it's quite difficult to figure out, is it actually selling better or worse over the time scale that it's been out?
I mean, I feel like, I mean, if I'm gonna be like full disclosure, completely honest here, the only reason I'm playing Hardline is because I'm a Battlefield friend and we got the game for free.
Scumbag, sellout, chill.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, it's like, I mean, I would have probably bought the game if EA were like, no, we're not going to give you guys a copy. But it's not the kind of game I usually go out of my way to play. But like something like Battlefield, it's like, you know, I hear Battlefield 3. Like, I've always been a very conservative gamer. Like when I buy a game, I want that game to last me 100 hours. I want to know I'm going to buy this. I'm going to enjoy this. Like, I'm very safe about buying games. Like, you know, I'm just really picky with my money. If Battlefield 3, if I had seen that on Steam for $5, I'd have been like, yes, absolutely. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about this game. I can easily get $5 worth out of this game for just playing it for a little bit. Whereas, like, yeah, you look at something like BF4 or BF Hardline, it's like, you're asking me to put down $120 for the complete edition of this shit? Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry, but just go fuck yourself. And I think that's most gamers' mentality. It's like, you know, like I don't think a lot of people want to play every game. They just want to play the games that interest them, and they, you know, when they latch onto those games, they'll play those games for a while. So with something like Battlefield, that, you know, typically those first-person shooters, Twitch kind of games, that's not a game that like interests me right out of the gate. Because I know it's like, oh man, you know, that's going to be $120 for running around shooting at people. Like, it's the same thing over and over and over again. I get bored with that. I get bored with that fast. But when that hits Steam, yeah, absolutely. I'd jump on that for $5. So, and I think Steam's like trained a lot of people to be like, wait for the deal.
To be frugal, to value their investment.
One, be frugal. Yeah, exactly. You know, wait for the deal. It's like, I'm not going to buy this shit when it comes out. I'm going to wait 2 or 3 years, 1, when they fixed all the bugs, 2, when there's more DLC, and then 3, once it goes on sale for $20. Yeah. Then I'm going to buy it.
Like you said earlier.
I don't need to play every game the second it's out.
Right.
I can wait.
Exactly.
I'm a patient man.
I can't wait. I
can't wait for some
yesterday.
things.
And I'm going to preload it tonight. And I'm not even
for some things I'm all about, man. Like Batman Arkham Knight, that's day one for me. Like, I got to play that fucker. Or, when GTA came out, I was like, man, that's day one. I haven't played a GTA game in a long time. I got to see what Rockstar's done. I got to see what the next thing is. And so that's another point with annualized content. It's like, it's not worth the $60 because you kind of know what you're getting.
Right. Well, to your point earlier about $60 games being really expensive, it's right. You're right. Not only is $60 expensive, relatively, you know, some people, obviously, it's a fucking drop in the bucket. But for others, that's a significant purchase. But it goes beyond that. You're investing your time into it. So a game purchase isn't necessarily just like a toy you buy. It's a literal investment. It is an investment of both money and time. And there's, man, if Steam has taught me anything, it's to really fucking value my investments because you can get, dude, $60 goes a long way on Steam.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like for $60 and then like, the DLC, the 100 and something, whatever. You could buy so many awesome indie games on Steam. So why wouldn't you?
Yep. And collectively across probably like 10 different titles, you can get as much playtime and probably more, potentially more enjoyment out of it than you could out of that one title.
Oh, big time. I mean, shit, I bought, last year, Skyrim came out, like Skyrim plus all Skyrim DLC for like $10. I was like, fuck yes. And that's the best $10 I've ever spent because I've sunk like almost 200 hours in that shit now.
Same.
For like $10, like that is like bang for my buck. I wait for deals like that. I can't, when something like that comes along, it's like, how could you ignore it?
I've got 2 Skyrims. I've got normal Skyrim and I've got Skyrim Legendary Edition, both on Steam. And I don't know why.
Because it's $10. Why not?
But I bought them both because they're cheap, and who gives a shit?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like the model for trying to sell your game now is different. There's this not being a dick about it, but if you buy a game on day one, I am gonna try and fucking milk you for everything you've got because you're the kind of dipshit who's willing to pay it.
Yeah, that's what they're after. They're after the whales. They're after like, okay, these guys really, really love our franchise. They are going to be willing to pay $120 because they're crazy.
Exactly. I get you for a digital edition. I get you for a different digital edition depending on where you download your game. I get you for a different pre-order edition depending on where it is that you buy the game. I get you for limited deluxe fucking mega ass butt edition that costs 240 euros because you're a fucking tool and you're going to pay that for a tiny statue and a fucking map of the game world. You know, I do all this to you on game one. I bend you over and I get some fucking butter and I rub it on your butt cheeks and I go fucking ham on you. That's you, day one consumer.
I just want to say, if you rub it on the cheeks, it's not really going to help. You kind of want to...
I don't. It's not there to help them.
It's a placebo effect, okay?
Oh, okay.
You think
And
it's
you know
helping,
what?
but it's really not.
Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with like someone out of the gate going, "Hey, here's a big deluxe edition for $120." If somebody plays Battlefield a lot and that's their jam, that's what they love more than anything in the world. You know, they don't have any other games. Battlefield is their game. You know, Battlefield's their pussy. That's what they love. If that game comes out and they're like, "Man, I can't wait to play it." They've been reading the forums, they've been looking at the screenshots. They are so hyped for that game. My God, if that game and what they've created is worth that much to you, by all means, buy it. It's not for most people, though, I would say. But if somebody really truly loves a game that much, you know, why not?
Yep. Go to town on them, and then you funnel value back from everybody else over time. Like, I've spoken to a lot of indie devs about the effect of like the indie sales, because I used to have an opinion kind of to myself about sales of indie games on Steam, where I kind of felt like indie devs were being pushed into this place where they had to sell their game real cheap, that it was setting a bad kind of context for the market. And with this thought in my head, I went off to some indie devs that I'm friendly with, and I spoke to them about their sales volumes around indie sales. They sit there and they wait, and they cannot wait for fucking Steam sales, because they will make 10 times their launch on a good Steam sale. Like, volume is king in the current market. And that's how a lot of like big AAA guys end up like spinning out long tail returns from projects that would have been dead otherwise.
Don't do it.
Yeah, start out high and then like slowly go lower.
Yeah, slowly go lower. Hit them with sales the whole way along the lifetime of the game. That slowly reduces the price and value.
Oh yeah, I mean even Rockstar's, you know, they're masters at that. They're always putting out a, we're re-releasing Vice City HD or re-releasing San Andreas, or it's, you know, it's packaged all together.
The only people who suck at this are like fucking Activision. They will not lower the price of an old COD.
Man,
Not for loving our money.
Fucking $20 for COD 4 on PC? Get the
Dude,
fuck
it's
out.
$60 for Black Ops.
That is a goddamn joke. Oh my god. See, that's one of those times when you literally wish you could fucking reach through your computer and slap the shit out of anyone that pays that kind of price for that game like today. Like, there's something really, really seriously wrong with you. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but even at a certain point, you're just being stupid.
Yeah. Or you have disposable income and you're like, fuck it.
In which case, okay, fine. But, you know, if you're like, man, I don't know.
I'll be right back. I'm going to hit the restroom.
All right. You're like,
Are you eating a Pop-Tart?
Hell yeah. Cold Pop-Tart.
Fabs Pro,
Have you ever put
watch,
butter on a
Donkey Corner.
Pop-Tart? It's so freaking good. You obviously don't watch Family Guy, do you?
No.
I do, but I don't even
God,
remember
Family
that
Guy is
jingle.
garbage.
You can get
but-
the fuck off my podcast right now.
Snoop,
That's
if
not
you watch Family Guy, you probably heard Pop-Tart and then left the room to get one, so you missed the rest of the song.
That was good. That was so good.
I can't even be mad.
Sometimes you're a little lazy with the jokes. That one was good.
That was pretty good. No one beats Squantoon. It was in like one of the first 5 podcasts, and someone said something about cupcakes or whatever, and Squantoon was like, Snoop would break his fucking nose diving to the ground so fast, trying to pick it up if he dropped it.
Tune is good, man. He's good at the burn.
It was good. I fucking died when he said that. I
I
died.
actually want nicotine so bad right now, and I don't know why. I
Don't
think it's
do
because
it.
I'm hungry.
You just drink beer.
Pop-Tart, man.
Squantoon, I heard my name. Actually, I want to back up to something I saw in the chat, and it was from the Sniper07. We were talking about how advertising dollars kind of get thrown into all these games. And
I'm back.
hi.
Hi.
Let me back it up a second so you can be included in this so you're not missing it. Something that the Sniper in the chat was talking about regarding kind of big games and where the money goes and all that shit. And I threw out there, you'd throw up at how much money some of these companies throw out just for advertising for these big AAA games. It's absurd.
Marketing is ridiculous
I
on
am
these AAA titles.
99% positive that for Call of Duty, not Advanced... actually, maybe it was this most recent one, Advanced Warfare. If it wasn't that, it was the one previous. They spent like $250 million total in just advertising. Now...
Jesus.
Think about that.
They don't need to.
Yes, they do. At some point, they. Well, all right. I won't say a yes or no on this. This is my theory on it. They have to at a certain point because the game. It's a year release. It's an annual game. There's hardly anything that's changing in between anything, with the exception of Advanced Warfare. At least they upped the engine, so it looks fucking amazing. I cannot take away credit for them with that, because holy shit, did it look good. Plays like fucking garbage, but it looks good. They need those advertising dollars to hype the shit out of the game, because that's how they're going to drive sales. They want you to think that it's a really good game, so they're just going to keep fucking shoving it down your throat over and over again. But we'll discuss that a little more. But where I was driving to this, so I don't lose my train of thought later. Imagine if they took all of those advertising dollars, even I don't know, say 75% of it, and actually put it into the fucking development of the game. You wouldn't need to sell the game because the goddamn thing would sell itself. But, hey, what do I know?
Games are weird. Okay, I'm gonna do some stuff that makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about, and I want you to know that this ain't personal.
You do this to me every week, so at this point I'm kind of used to it.
Okay, cool.
It's all right, go for it.
So, Call of Duty, you're looking at it from the point of view of when you hear a new Call of Duty is coming out, that you're thinking, I want to know what is different and unique about this game, and I will consider buying it. So Activision need to spend money to educate you in what is cool and different. And if nothing new is cool and different, that they need to kind of brainwash you into buying it. That's not really the way that like massive branding works. Massive branding works. People have been programmed to buy Call of Duty that's coming out this year 4 years ago. They're in the cycle the same way you were in the cycle previous to this. Before you grew disenchanted with Call of Duty, which is basically brand burnout, you never needed to be convinced that Call of Duty was worth buying. All you needed to do was know the date. You just needed to know November 4th is coming. It's fucking Call of Duty time. Why did they announce it? I don't give a fuck. I know it's there. I know it's there like I know I have a pulse. So you go in and you buy it. 80% roughly of like brand loyalists, you don't need to convince them to buy something. You just need to tell them that it's there. Ask anybody who you know who owns an iPhone. Anybody at all. Walk up to them tomorrow and just go, new iPhone was announced. Are you going to get it? They won't even question that shit. They'll be like, yep, I'm going to get it. They're not going to say, a new iPhone was announced. I didn't hear that. How much is it? None of the pertinent questions, such as establishing the actual existence and price point of a product, they're just going to go, yeah. Because that's what they do. They buy stuff. We're consumers.
I like to consider myself the exception. I have
in our very
zero
nature.
Brand loyalty.
That's the way
There's
branding
no royalties
works.
here. There's no
That's the
royalties here,
difference.
good sir.
That's the difference between marketing, advertising, and branding. Branding is this really kind of unique thing. So for a lot of their sales, to make that money back, all they need to do is produce a product. As shitty as I think Call of Duty is, and as shitty as you think Call of Duty is, and as shitty as many of us think Call of Duty is, they're still earning $1 billion off each iteration.
Which just grosses me out.
So they're still riding this wave, this fucking incredible crest of a game. And they're showing no signs of fatigue within the mainstream casual gamer who will see a Call of Duty, have enjoyed the previous one, and go out and buy the next one. So these advertising budgets are severely overinflated. A lot of it will be down to waste, mismanagement, and just general dickholery on the part of these guys who are PR and advertising companies just trying to one up each other almost with what they're going to do. Okay, so Call of Duty is coming up. We've got a contract from Activision that's worth like, $2.5 million. And we want them to rehire us next year. We've also got a budget of $5 million to spend. What are we going to do? I know we're going to dig up the bones of Elvis and animate them, right? As he plays Call of Duty while Chuck Norris kicks him in the skull. Like that's PR, that's advertising, that's the way they work. It's bigger, better. Who can we involve from a celebrity point of view? How much money can we spend? Because there is no amount of money that they can spend that looks bad when you're advertising Call of Duty. If I'm running a PR agency, I'm like, I've represented for Activision around Call of Duty. I had a $7 million budget and the project grossed over $1 billion. Ergo, I am a fucking genius at my job. Like, it doesn't matter what you could smear yourself in fucking feces and walk up to people and say, Call of Duty's coming out. They'll be like, I'm not going to hug you, but I'll buy the game. That's pretty much the way that would work.
Interesting.
What was the other part? There was something else I wanted to talk about as well. There was a second point that you had made. Oh yeah,
instead of putting
chucking money at a project like this doesn't always work as well, because money can only buy you two things when it comes to games: staff or tech. Neither of which might actually solve your problem. Having more people working on something doesn't necessarily mean that a conclusion or a solution is going to be reached quicker. It could actually just make things into a longer, more drawn-out process as you demarcate jobs to different people, and they need to stay in constant fucking communication about who's doing what all the fucking time, and they're all coding differently and building differently, and everybody's just confused. Instead of having two fucking dudes who live in each other's pockets, who just happen to be really smart guys, like working on a project, or these two fucking ladies over here, they do all the fucking animations. This fucking chipmunk voice actor fucking extraordinaire, get him in to do absolutely fucking everything. Doesn't matter. Like, money won't always solve what we see as being the problems in games, because what they actually just needed was time. They probably just needed the money to pay that same programmer for 6 more months.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. It's like, yeah, you would almost rather, like, I get your point on advertising, Snoov, where it's like going to PAX was like a great example, like, with Evolve, and seeing like the giant Evolve monster there displayed
awesome.
in front of everybody.
Awesome.
It's fucking awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, man, they could have they could have kept their same staff and maybe not spent that money on that, as cool as it is, but maybe taking a longer development time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's about clever use of resources as opposed to just more resources.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that John Carmack
like,
built ID Engine on a fucking $50 budget.
Oh, yeah.
And look what that did for gaming.
Did we lose John?
No, I'm here.
Okay, sorry.
No, I
you
think it
were
was just a natural awkward
Did you lose
silence.
yourself?
No, my bad. Well, your mic cuts out every once in a while, so I thought you were talking and we lost you.
It's that Mac, man.
Yeah, this headset I got's kind of wonky.
Time to upgrade, bruh.
Yeah, may need to.
I love the way we haven't done a single fucking thing. Don't get me wrong. This has actually probably been one of my favorite fucking podcasts that we've done. And John just fucking going ham on bitches up in here has been amazing. But we've done nothing like we thought we were going to do. This is why I love these podcasts.
Ortega, the reason it was a little bit of a moment of awkward silence there. The reason why this happens a lot in the podcast. I am big on being polite. I don't like interrupting people, so I always give people the benefit of the doubt. In this case, like I said, I thought John's mic was crapping on him, and I didn't want to all of a sudden start talking and not realizing he was already talking. So that's a reason why a lot of that happens. I don't like stepping on people's toes.
Awkward silence happens. Just live with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Just deal with it. I love when awkward silence happens in like a restaurant. You guys ever experienced that shit?
Yes.
Everyone stops
That's
talking
the
the same
best
moment.
thing
Like,
ever. Yeah, everybody stops talking at the exact same moment, and then it kind of looks around like, what the fuck just happened? It is hilarious. I love it every time it happens.
It's very disconcerting.
Such a human moment. Yeah, it's like, wait.
Or when you
'Cause it
suddenly
doesn't seem
stand
real,
up in
you're
the
like,
middle
wait.
of when you suddenly stand up in the middle of a podcast and everybody realizes you got no pants on.
Hey, it happens. Deal with it.
Why do you think John doesn't have a camera going on? He's like, pants? Fuck that noise. No, I was.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have a camera because he's actually a fucking cartoon in real life. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm just a fucking cartoon.
I'm
Dude!
not even real.
No, this could work. All right, so one of the things we saw at PAX East, John, that I don't know if it would work for you guys, but it looked fucking cool. Intel was there. They had their own booth, and they had this laptop set up with a webcam in it, and you had to get pretty close, and there was already the outline of a face on there, like a cartoony face. You had to get pretty close until you could see the outline of your head showing up inside of it. And once you get it lined up, you had to hold still for like about 10 seconds. And then it live capped your motions. So I turned my head, I raised my eyebrows, stick my tongue or whatever, and the like rendered cartoony character on the fucking screen was doing everything in real time, mimicking my every movement.
Now, I've seen stuff like that, but it's like kind of it's always been very like it never works as advertised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was I bought something on Steam. My daughter and I played with it one day. It was like $5, and it was FaceTime. Is that what it's called?
FaceTime is that no, FaceTime is that Apple thing for.
You're talking about the face rig one? I forget what that one's called.
Face rig. That's it.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, face
Or
rig.
the sports one for the sports games.
I'm not sure about that. This was just like
You could
it was
be
a collection of characters.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like it read like you would turn on your webcam, it would read your webcam, and you could be like a fucking cat or a dinosaur, whatever. But it sounded similar to what you're talking about, and like I said, I think like it worked okay, but it's like not as one-to-one as you like really want it to be. But I'm glad somebody's like working on that technology. Because it would be awesome to do cartoons or animations where we can build characters in 3D and not having to spend $500,000 have like a motion capture studio. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, dude, it looked cool. Like I was trying to imagine all the different ways you could incorporate that tech into like doing cartoon kind of stuff. Especially. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the hardest part about doing all the animations and stuff is the face, because there's so many different expressions that you want to try and capture and convey so that it looks relatively realistic. And
yeah, it's I mean, I try to focus a lot on the face because normally that's what people's eyes are on.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if you're watching a cartoon, at least with me, and I may be completely wrong on this, but if I'm watching a cartoon, my eyeballs are 90% of the time on the character's face because I want to see the expression. I want to see, what's this character thinking? And body language is a big part of that too. But I think the face is more important, especially the eyes. I can't stand watching a cartoon where the eyes are dead. That drives me nuts. Like you see a cartoon, it's like, and the pupils stay still the entire time. I'm like, move them, move those pupils. I want some sort of life there because I think the eyes are the most important. Like I try really hard to keep our eyes moving constantly, either darting back and forth or even just a little like, I mean, it's such a small movement, but he's looking forward and he kind of like bop, 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 it moves small enough to where there is some sort of motion there.
That makes sense. Sorry, just go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say back to the face rig thing that I saw this one guy using it. I was trying to find the video, but I don't know where it is. He was playing a game and he was like streaming on Twitch, but with the face rig. So he was a cat with like this ridiculous fucking hat, and he was like being a character. And it was hilarious. I can't remember this. He had a stupid name. He like gave the cat a stupid name. He had this stupid voice. He was like, "Oh yeah, we still complete the mission." It was just fucking ridiculous. I thought it was hilarious because I'm 12.
No, I can see that being a lot of fun.
I've seen this used before. There's a guy on YouTube, right, called Modern War Negro. And he's one of my favorite fucking YouTubers. He's funny as balls. And he actually does an entire podcast with Face Rig. I just Googled it there to see what it was. He does an entire podcast and then like kind of cuts it down. And I find it hilarious because they will be slightly in character, but they are talking about games. So one of them's a wolf and he's talking like he's giving out about like, you know, GTA came out. Oh, GTA, I don't like it. Why? Because I can't control fucking games because I'm a wolf, you fucking idiot. You know, that kind of thing. But all the animals look like they're slightly fucking stoned, so it just works fantastically.
Bike
All right, I
Man.
just
That
found
might have
him.
been Bike Man.
Modern War Negro. All right, I'm subscribed. I'll check him out.
He's funny. He's good. It's like he's smart, but he's also very funny.
Dude, that was probably the greatest segue into segue.
I think it was
Going from one topic into everything else, and it was beautiful. Now, I'm trying to figure out what we want to do because we have a couple of topics left over, but we've also got some things in here that was specifically for John. So you know what? I'm gonna change the direction a little bit. We're gonna hammer John with some questions here.
Fuck John. He's talked enough.
Nope.
Yeah, fuck me. I've talked enough.
Yeah.
This is from the Lanky Soldier. It's a little bit lengthy, so bear with me. With Battlefield Friends being a massive success, basically becoming part of the Battlefield franchise, there's always a reference involved in Battlefield Friends series when Battlefielders talk to each other. What was the earliest inspiration you guys had while creating the first ever episode for the series? And while creating the characters, did you guys more focus on the characters themselves, on what they need to be, or you just thought, fuck it, let's be ourselves and pretend we play Battlefield?
Well, the first episode was sort of born out of our group. Tony Schnurr was the guy. He plays the Recon. He was the guy that was the Battlefield veteran. He had played Battlefield, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 19. You know, all those. So he got Brent playing Battlefield, which in turn got me playing Battlefield. So we all started playing Battlefield. But the first episode is sort of based on Brent's first experience in a chopper. And I think it's an experience we could all relate to because it was my first experience in a chopper in Battlefield. You hop in, you take off, and then you immediately crash it.
For what it's worth, this is like Jess's 5th version of Battlefield, and she still does that every time she hops in. So, you know.
Hey, none of us are perfect.
Excuse me, are you criticizing my flying?
Yes, I am.
I'm excellent now. No, okay, not excellent. I'm
She's
passable.
passable when she's sober.
Thank you.
Passable when sober.
Passable when sober.
Yes.
I've had that said about me on several occasions.
Yeah, is that not the best any of us could hope for?
It really is. That's all we got. I'm passable when I'm sober. But yeah, first episode of Battlefield Friends was basically our experience flying a chopper. And the characters was like we really it is one of those rare shows where we did sort of play ourselves. And my character was a little bit more geared towards like the rager, which I'm very happy to fill that role because I enjoy raging.
Oh.
You're speaking to the crowd, sir, especially me right here. Every time I ask, hey, Jess, you want to play Battlefield? Will you promise not to rage tonight?
I texted him.
sorry.
That's what I texted him that last time. I will play with you if you don't rage.
It's easy to do.
It is easy to do.
It's easy to do, man, because it can be a stressful game where you're just like, nothing's going right, and you're like, oh!
I was raging last time.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you fucking
So, technically, that kind of answers the second question you had. While creating the characters, did you guys get more focused on the characters themselves, on what they need to be, or you just thought, screw it, let's be ourselves and pretend we play Battlefield?
No, I mean, we definitely, like, it's like everybody, like, we don't, like, nobody writes everybody, like, everybody writes their own character in a sense. Because when we record Battlefield Friends, it isn't so much a script. Like, we never really write out, oh, this character is going to say this character is going to say that. We sort of more or less write out, this character is going to have this sort of reaction to this. Like, the medic character is always very chill, very laid back. He's sort of the casual player, like, I don't really give a shit what's going on, except in certain situations. And then, like, you know, my character, obviously just complete balls of the wall. Fuck it, I love OP weapons. I'm just going to go nuts. And then we'll create characters for specific roles, like an admin character or the PC elitist character or all that. But when we sit down to write a script or write an episode, we never really like write out what each character is going to say. Again, we write out what this character feels in this moment, and then we write out those moments. So because of the way we record is we're all standing around a circle of microphones. We have 4 or 5 microphones in one room, and we're talking to each other. And then we say, okay, in this scene, this needs to happen. The noob shows up, he does this, this character's reaction's this character reaction's that, this character's reaction's this. And then so we'll improv it. And that's how it works. It's like we just say go, and we'll record 6 or 7 takes of the same scene over and over and over again until either 1, we feel like, okay, that was funny, let's keep that, or 2, this sucks, let's come up with an entirely different scenario.
That sounds so fun.
It does. You answered one of my questions. I was going to say, typically, how long does it take for you to get to a point where, I don't want to say where you get it right, where you get like, fuck yeah, that felt good, let's just roll with that. But so, on average, like 6 or 7 times, or is that just kind of a number you threw out during the...
Oh, it's a number 3. I mean, sometimes we'll do 2 takes and go, oh my God, that second take was amazing. We're using that. Like, there was this moment in that second take. Like, that has to be the moment. Like, and we won't go any further. It's like, we're all happy with this moment. Let's use that. And then, I mean, a lot of the times we'll do another one just for fun. Like, okay, let's get weird on this one. Like, everybody just go off on a tangent. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't. You never know. But for the majority, I would say on average, 4 to 5 takes per, like, piece.
Okay. So
some go more, some go less.
Okay. So now I'm curious, and you know what, now I can't recall if I've asked this question or not before. What was a standout episode you guys did where everything just from the word go was fucking great and you guys were just really, really hyped about it?
Oh, man. I don't think there's ever been one. I mean, there's definitely been moments where it's like, oh, that was a good recording session. We got some funny moments. And then we'll all listen. See, that's the other thing. It's like, we'll take what we did, and Brent or Nate, somebody will take the audio, and they'll cut it into a rough cut. And we'll all listen to the rough cut. And then so, like, the nice thing about how we operate is, like, if we can listen to the rough cut and go, oh, this worked, like, this worked, and this worked, but, oh, this didn't. Let's re-record that. Let's jump back in, you know. Let's try another version of this scene.
Okay.
So, and a lot of times that's what we'll do is like we'll listen to the audio and go, okay, we can change this. We can make this better, and we do, because the mics are right there. All right, fire up the mics. Let's get another take of this. I don't know if I answered. I may have not answered your question at all.
Nope, you definitely did.
But yeah, I mean, is there any one episode that's like stand out? Not really, because we nitpick the shit out of everything, I feel like.
Okay. So speaking personally to your channel, there's just things that I'm really curious about as we're going along discussing all this here. For like all the shorts that you come up with your channel, I know you just kind of like all of a sudden something hits you. How does that work out in the sense of like, if say you're working on something for Battlefield Friends, and all of a sudden something hits you that you're like, holy fuck, I need to do that for my channel. Do you just kind of get to a point where you can drop it as soon as possible and then jump on that? How does your own personal storyboard kind of go when you create your own shorts?
I have like basically like a notepad, or I got like a little folder full of drawings and ideas. So anytime I have something like that, and a lot of the times I feel like I have an idea, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and the idea is gone.
Yeah.
So when that happens, in my head I go, that idea wasn't good enough. It deserves to be gone. Fuck that idea. But if I have an idea and I go to bed and then I wake up and I still remember that idea, I go, that's still pretty damn funny. And I write it down. Or I make a little drawing of like, this is what I think. And I'll put it in my folder. So I have like a folder just full of like, here's things I'd like to do. Like I had an idea the other day that stuck with me. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But it's a short cartoon about a dude and his, a single father and his baby. And the single father's trying to pick up chicks. and the baby's always trying to thwart him, and he beats the shit out of the baby because fuck that baby. But it's like, it's like very Looney Tunes. Like the baby's like, yeah, you're never gonna get fucking laid. Like, shut the fuck up. And I don't know why. That's funny to me, and that stuck with me. So in anything that I think of that sticks with me, I try to remember and I try to write down.
Oh,
and then and as far as actually making it, it kind of comes to the point when I feel comfortable and I have free time. Like I took a quarter off of Hank and Jed last year. Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. But I took I took 3 months off of Hank and Jed last year because like I just needed like, all right, I want a little bit of time to like make my own cartoons, and I wanted to do a new Prostitute Mickey, a new Madman Mario, a couple original shorts. That's when I did You Want to See My Pecker and shit like that, which is gone. It's off my YouTube channel now, by the way.
What?
Like, yeah, no, I sold it to it's going to be on Comedy Central.
You fucking serious?
Yeah, no, it's
you
it's
fucking big dick baller.
Yeah, no, I got a big old dick now. But it's going to be on the show called Trip Tank, which I guess is like a collection of short cartoons.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
So yeah, they found it and called me, and they were like, "We want to buy this from you." And I was like, "I don't know. Like, here's money to feed your baby." Like, okay, I'll do it.
That must have been kind of.
But no, it's cool because I've never been on. I've never had a cartoon on cable TV, so I was like, that'd be cool to do. So, and I figured, You Want to See My Pecker is a good premiere, I guess, for my style of twisted fucking humor.
Well, now I gotta know. Television. I would never ask for exact figures, but I'm just curious how it works in that case. Is it one lump sum, or do they pay royalties?
It was well, there are royalties involved if it reruns, but who knows? But it was one lump sum out of the gate.
Okay.
So, and yeah, I can't disclose because of fucking
No, I wouldn't ask you to anyway. That's something.
That's fucking dope, though. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. But yeah, it was weird. It's like, because like part of the deal was like, no, now it's like I have to sell it outright. Like I don't own that cartoon anymore, and that was weird to me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I have to take it off my YouTube channel, and I feel like I have to take it away from people. But at the same time, it's like, okay, maybe I thought about it. Like I kicked the shit out of myself. Like, what am I going to do here? But I ultimately decided, okay, maybe having it on cable TV will help JonnyEthco reach a wider audience somehow.
Certainly.
Plus,
but ultimately decided, like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do it. Why not?
Were any of those fucks on YouTube willing to fucking pay you for a cartoon? No, fuck those.
No, I know. It is one of those things. It's like, I love the shit out of my fans, and anybody that watches my stupid fucking short cartoons and is awesome enough to subscribe and stick around and watch my dumb shit for year after year after year. It's like, it feels weird taking something away from them. And I don't know, man, and maybe it is dumb. It's like, yeah, they don't pay me a thing. I don't owe them a thing. But it's like I created this. Like I never create any of my cartoons, or at least personal cartoons, for money. I started doing this just for fun, and it turned into a career. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if this all fell apart tomorrow, I'd go back because I was working in news. I was like a television director, and I could go back to that tomorrow and make a good living. Wouldn't have a problem. But ultimately, like I grew up watching cartoons. Love making just short, stupid cartoons, and the fact that people were cool enough to share it and show it to each other and enable myself to make a living doing this shit. It's like I'm just eternally grateful and humble for that. So yeah, that's it.
An awesome fucking phone call. Did that catch you like kind of off guard? Like all of a sudden, hey, it's Comedy Central. Like what? Huh?
No, it was an email, really.
Oh, okay. I for some reason I thought they'd just call it first.
And it's not really Comedy Central. It's like it's the company that produces Trip Tank, but Trip Tank is going to be on Comedy Central.
Okay.
So it's not like Comedy Central. Like it's not like the chairman of the board at Comedy Central.
No.
Hey, fella, we love your cartoon. Right. We want to put it on our network, G. Like no, that didn't happen.
I'm just going to point out, if you're going to get like super famous over the next couple of years, you're going to need two things. You're going to need an agent and you're going to need a drug dealer. And I'm really good at one of those.
So you'll be my agent then.
No, I think you hit the... Yeah.
I will help you.
You know, a really good person is good at both of those things, Scanner.
Yeah, me. I'm trying to be modest. I'm trying to not emphasize. Doesn't fit me.
No,
Kinda
it doesn't.
Like your pants.
Dude, okay, so I won't dive into it because there's other things I want to discuss for the night, but just that quick little snippet you gave of us of your background, I find extremely interesting because it was one of the things I love learning about people on YouTube. Like, I don't want to know about specifically where they live or the exact companies they work for, but their background and what they do for normal jobs is fucking cool. In most cases, and occasionally you get the burger flipper. It's like, okay, but like I played with Tony the other night, well, a couple weeks ago, and kind of hearing little snippets about what his background was, where he came from and stuff before, you know, doing what all you guys do. I find it really interesting. So if the opportunity is there that we can get the whole crew on one night to kind of go a little more in depth to discuss everything, I would really love to do that because fuck all the viewers. Myself personally, I would find that extremely intriguing and interesting to be able to discuss with everyone to see how this whole kind of different group came together and where everyone's backgrounds lie in and how it all became a thing.
Madhouse.
I would love for it, but don't bring Anthony. No.
Fuck Anthony.
No, Simon. Fuck, what's Simon's? No.
Oh God, Brian.
Brian, thank you.
Dude, Brian Duringo?
Oh man, no, yeah. Snoop had the pleasure of meeting Brian, who I think is Brian Mahoney is one of the funniest motherfuckers on the planet, in my opinion.
Completely caught me off guard when I met all them at PAX, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, Brian, what the fuck's Brian?" I was like,
"Who's this homeless guy?"
Brian's my new favorite person. Scanner, you would fucking love Brian if you ever got the chance to meet him.
Scanner.
You two would probably hit it off really well. He's a funny fucking dude.
Brian's the guy that, like, when you first meet him, comes across as like, I think I hate this guy, but then 5 minutes later, he's your best friend.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know how he does it.
It's just like me.
Dude, hang on. There's one more topic specifically for you, John. When you and the guys first came up with the idea for Battlefield Friends and began putting it together, did any of you guys ever consider Battlefield Friends would get as popular as it is now?
No, I mean not in the sense that, I mean we did the first episode and we released the first episode and it was like that was sort of a pilot, and we gave it, we licensed it to Machinima and we said, okay, we're going to put it on Machinima's channel, which they're a huge network. Millions of subscribers. We'll see how it does. First episode did great. So it was like, okay, well, let's just keep making more because that did good. And then Machinima said, okay, yeah, we're going to pay you guys to keep making more of these. So I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. That's at least in my head, that's kind of as far as I ever saw it going, is like, okay, this will last for a good, couple of seasons, and maybe we can just keep making Battlefield stuff, and we enjoy playing the game. We'll do a series on Battlefield. Why not? Never in 1,000 years would I dream that DICE would put stupid references from our cartoon in the game. I think that's when it sunk in, is like when we started seeing these little snippets of what was the first one? Was it the Megalodon?
No,
the Megalodon was like the biggest. Like that's what I remember the most.
Yeah, that'd be the biggest one. But what's in the first one during the was it the teaser trailer or the launch trailer? When
yes. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Drives the quad out the top.
And, we got
No, he goes
right. Yes, in the end, and we had no idea that was coming. Like what happened? Like he got contacted by DICE to be voice actors in Battlefield 4. Like in the multiplayer. So if you're ever running around, like I've heard those rare instances where I'm playing Battlefield 4 and I hear my voice. I'm like, hey, I need a fucking ride. Where are you going, asshole? It's like, oh my god, like that's still fucking cool to me that I'm in this like gigantic video game. But that was an honor to get that call or that email that was like, hey guys, we've been watching your cartoon, we love it, we want to put you in the game. It was like, are they fucking serious? Are they out of their minds? But it ended up being really cool because Victor, the guy who is the, I guess one of the biggest sound engineers, or the guy in charge of voice acting over at DICE, he had been following or like watching my cartoons from Newgrounds,
Oh, no
like
shit.
way back in the day. He was a big Newgrounder, or like Newgroundser, or whatever you want to call it. So it was like immediately I had a connection with him. I was like, oh, I love this guy. Because he was like, oh, shit, are you JonnyEthco? Oh, I've been watching, I love Madman Mario. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're the, like, sound guy at DICE. You're way bigger than I am. What? And I don't know if that's just the scale you put in your head of like, oh, he works for DICE. He's super big time important. You know, I'm a little chump. But, you know, it was kind of a perspective thing of like, oh, no, he appreciates, like, these silly little cartoons I do, which is fucking cool. But, yeah, getting that call and actually being put in Battlefield 4 was like the first, like, wow, this is really cool. Like that's the best thing that could have happened out of that series is that the people at DICE found that series and started watching it and enjoyed it. Enjoyed it enough to say, let's take these guys and put them in the game. I mean, it's very similar to like what Red versus Blue, you know, they have little cameos in like Halo 2 and 3, I think.
Do they really?
Yeah, well, I know in 3 for sure there are some cameos of the guys, but it's very similar. Of like, you know, like obviously Bungie enjoyed those guys' content enough to say, man, we love what you guys are doing. Let's put them in the game, and you know, we kind of felt the same way with DICE. It was like, wow, you know, these guys watch our silly cartoon enough to like it and throw us in the game, which is like the most humbling thing. And then on top of that, it's like we do that silly video of like, you know, stay out of the water. There's a megalodon in there, which was just intended as a dumb joke that was never intended to go further than that. It was like, oh, people are always saying there's dinosaurs in Battlefield 3. Like, what can we do? Oh, there's water now. Oh, there's a megalodon in the water. It's like, no, there's no megalodon in the water. That's fucking ridiculous. And then we see the Jack Frags video pop up that one day of like Megalodon confirmed in Battlefield 4. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? This is insane. This is ridiculous.
If you guys had made a fucking episode about
PTFO
or
or
having
something,
hit detection or teamwork or something, it'd be a better fucking game.
Yeah, maybe we should quit making jokes about giant sharks and joke about like problems with the game.
Yeah, stop being assholes. Jesus.
Well, technically they did with the whole new fight
I mean,
thing. Technically, no, never mind.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, you could try and spin it like that. I'm sorry, I'm a buzzkill. Go ahead.
You'd be trying really hard.
It would. That was one of my favorite episodes, though.
Oh yeah, no, Noob Fights. That's a fun one. I actually got to watch it recently. We went out to a Hardline event from a local GameStop. The guy that runs a local GameStop we're friends with, and he asked us to come out, and we played laser tag all night, which was great.
Nice.
People in the chat are saying that you guys should just get to do the voices for the main characters.
Oh, that's our dream. It's like,
in a campaign.
That'd be amazing. It's like I mean, it's one of those things like I would love to do, but at the same time, it's like I don't think I've ever really enjoyed a Battlefield campaign, except for Bad Company 1. I played Bad Company 1, and I really enjoyed that a lot.
What about Bad Company Friends?
Bad Company
Friends, yeah.
Yeah.
No, bad sociopath with bad friends and
really
company.
Cool to be part of a campaign, but at the same time, it's like we would have to write it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
or
like
you lose the charm and the uniqueness that makes you guys you.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to feel about like if we were asked to do that. I don't know how I would feel because it like is somebody else writing this and we're trying to be funny, or do you want us to write the campaign and we'll be funny?
I would pay top dollar pre-order money, all cash straight up to me if you guys got to write the dialogue for any campaign.
Yeah.
Let's Kickstarter this shit right now. We'll make this work.
Oh, jeez.
Just make a game. We'll make our own game.
Speaking of which,
I mean, I always felt like with the campaigns, it's like, I mean, they almost try to take themselves too seriously. That's what I really enjoyed about Bad Company 1, especially. It's like I felt like there was a lightheartedness to the whole thing, and I felt like that hasn't been existent in a Battlefield game since. Like Bad Company 2, and I may be wrong on this, I felt like Bad Company 2 was even more serious.
I didn't play.
Did you guys play Bad?
I played about like a third of 2, but I didn't play 1. I enjoyed Bad Company 2's campaign. I'm sad I didn't complete it.
Here's what I liked about Bad Company 1 is the openness of it. It felt big. Like, it felt like, I remember several times it was like, okay, here's a village or here's a town that we have to infiltrate. But you could go about it however you pleased. You could run over there and grab the tank. Or you could go on foot and try to be stealthy. Or you could just run in guns blazing. Like, there were options in each level about what to do. And I also remember this really cool gadget, like this one really cool weapon you had that was it was like a laser designator. And the destruction was sweet because you would point this laser designator at a building with like 4 or 5 enemies in it. And the next thing you know, it was just raining down shit. And everything was dead. And it was such a cool fucking weapon, but I don't know. I'm just being all nostalgic. I may be wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It was great. Like, it was.
Well, good. Scanner backed me up. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was, though. It was different. It definitely had its own unique charm and interest. Like, it was still, it was without doubt a military FPS game. But it was taking risks, like trying to make camaraderie and humor exist within like a murderous war zone, and that's why it worked. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember liking the characters, and that's my problem with a lot of first-person shooters. And like when they try to tell a story, it's like immediately I don't like characters. And Hardline's the same thing. I've played 3 missions of the storyline, and I stopped. I was like, I don't like any of these characters. None of them appeal to me. None of them are making like smart decisions or acting like human beings. It's all very like cop drama, like, well, we got to do this, we got to do that, and I'm going to say my lines in the most monotone way possible. Fuck you! Like, say something. Like, be a fucking human being for once.
Yeah, say something funny. Like, I firmly believe that, like, Tier 1 operators and people who go through these extremely dangerous situations when in military service, they're not all like, okay, it's time for talk with our serious voices and stuff. I guarantee you the guy who shot fucking Osama bin Laden told a dick joke within like 10 fucking seconds of doing it.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Yeah, be human about it. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
It's hard to top dick jokes.
It is. It's actually kind of a high note to end it on. Well, if we're talking about Scanner's dick jokes, it's a very low note to end it on.
It is a very low note to end it on. It's down all the way to my ankle, mate. Thanks for the compliment, bud.
Yeah, that kind of backfired on me.
Fucking dumbass.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. That's actually a good point to call the night. We've been at this for, about an hour and a half now, which is pretty good. I like to keep it about an hour and a half. We've covered a lot. We don't really have any other... What? No, we got a late start. About an hour and a half. Again, thank you guys, everyone, for watching. John, thank you for coming on again. Greatly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
If you're interested, we'd love to have you back as a semi-regular guest. If you're interested in that, pending your time allows for it. I know you're a very busy man.
Hey, yeah, man. Once every now and then would be great.
Yeah, we can certainly make that work.
I enjoyed this. Like, I had a hell of a day, man. Like, it was one of those like technical fucking problem days that just like drive you insane. Because like yesterday, yesterday I was working on a video that required me to install this codec into my After Effects, and that fucked my After Effects when I tried to open up the Battlefield Friends episodes to start animating. I was like, okay, video's done. I'm gonna start animating now. Open up After Effects, it won't load past 70%. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I spent the first 5 hours of my morning figuring out why the fuck won't my After Effects work, and it ended up being something stupid, like always. But it's just one of those things that's just like super headache. So I'm enjoying this beer.
Dude, that's like every day of my working life right now. But that's what I love about the podcast. We come on here, I drink a ton of beer and relax, and we get to shoot the shit about fucking everything. And it feels so good because we can there's no real over script to it. We've just got a general 2-sentence topic to roll with, and we just go ham on it from there. And that's what I love about this. It's very laid back, and we get to do whatever the hell we want. Makes me feel good.
I like it.
But yeah, definitely, man. Anytime you want, we'll fit you in on the schedule. It works great. Oh boy, what are they talking about? Other than that, guys, for the Patreon page, if you could do me a favor, please. If you haven't checked it out, if you could, we'd greatly appreciate it. At least just to look at it. If you can support us, that would be huge. We're really, really close to our next goal. We're at $727 a month. The next goal is $900. We can bring in more help with the site, which is going to be hugely beneficial. If you can, cool. If not, don't sweat it. Also, we have an apparel store set up. That was something that just kind of ended up working out relatively easily for us. So we've got T-shirts and hoodies. We'll be adding other stuff eventually, hats, and even a coffee mug, which I thought was pretty cool that we can have that option.
Also, dick rings.
And dick rings.
Why not?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Pre-warned by me.
Dude.
Scanner dick rings. Available now. Only $19.95.
Yeah. Satisfaction
Everybody needs a little
guarantee,
scanner
or
on their
fuck
pecker.
you.
Ringtones? Yeah, we can have ringtones. John, can you do some voiceovers for us for our ringtones?
Hey, I'm a ringtone. Pick up your phone now.
Bad. We gotta hire someone else. Jesus. Fucking amateur hour.
I'm drunk. Fuck off.
I would have gone with something like, "Hi, I'm John, and these people won't let me go. Please send help."
Help, I'm being kidnapped against my will.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Check out John's channel if you want. You know, it's your thing. Although he hasn't uploaded in a while, which greatly depresses me. I need more prostitute Mickey in my life. I said that on Twitter.
Oh, man.
How awful that could come off without context, but hopefully people understood what I was talking about.
Oh, I made a new drawing. Did you guys see my drawing?
I did. That's why that was one I commented on.
Yeah. I made that for Newgrounds. Like, I guess they're putting like together. Like every year, Newgrounds has a party, and I went last year for the first time. I'm gonna try to go again this year. But I guess they're making this big poster for the party, and they asked a bunch of people to like contribute to the poster. So that was my contribution to a little square in this ultimately fucked up poster I guess they're making.
Nice. That's great. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. I personally will at least be back here on Thursday. I'm going to do another Dawnbreaker Gaming Community Night. And I don't know what we're going to play yet. I'm thinking a little bit more Chivalry because we had a shit ton of fun playing that last time. But we'll bounce around a little bit. We'll start with Chivalry. We'll work from there. Check the forums or my Twitter. I'll tweet something about it when I get that all posted with more details to come. Other than that, you can catch us here again next Monday. Same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And next week, just unless I'm mistaken, we have Crafty Cockney and Phil on. The two are the European invasion.
Is that next week? Or is it the week after?
No, it's the week after. Shit, who do we... No,
Ghost.
Next week we have Digital Ghost, who is one of the guys that's really helping out with back-end stuff on the website, which has been hugely helpful for us. And he's basically the clan leader for Dawnbreaker Gaming, which I know fuck all about, really. I just know that my name's kind of thrown into the hat on that, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a clan member.
Fucking free
Yay.
order. Also, tomorrow about... should, most likely... be playing Bloodborne because that's coming out tomorrow. Probably around when I get home from work, like 5:30 or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So that'll be here if you guys are interested in checking that out. It's PS4 exclusive. It's an RPG. It's like Dark Souls. It's the same devs. Scanner's gonna have a boner over it, but I'm gonna be playing it and you ain't, bruh.
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed, but such is life.
All about disappointments.
That's right. You can watch me die a million
Did
times.
not get it?
Scanner doesn't have a PS4.
I can't justify buying a PS4 just to play one game.
That is why I haven't bought one.
Understood.
Like, I've got, like, well over 1,000 hours across Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
Oh, wow. So you're like hardcore fan on that.
Yeah, and I would. Like, I could go out and spend $400 on a console and $60 on the game, and I would spend 460 hours playing it, so it would be like $1 an hour. But I don't know. I'm struggling. Do I want to give Sony money for sucking at consoles and just managing to do one thing right? I don't think so. It's weird. I'm confused.
Yeah. There might be some good PS4 exclusives coming down the line. You guys seen No Man's Sky? What do you guys think of that?
I'm actually looking forward to that.
Is that the one that's kind of like a bunch of colors, but and there's like kind of dinosaurs?
Yes, it's a bunch of colors.
No, but it's like a weird color
That's the
scheme. The
description
plants
there,
are like
Jess.
pink.
It's a bunch
I hear it has
of
pixels
colors.
too.
I'm trying to see if I'm remembering
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. No, Jess, you're right. almost looks like, oh shit, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, you and I had talked about this when they first kind of started teasing it.
Looks interesting.
Yeah.
Is that coming out soon?
Yeah, it's like you can fly from one planet to the other. It's like all procedural. And like it seems really interesting, but it's like until I see more gameplay, I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Yeah.
It is also a timed exclusive on PS4.
Oh, okay, so it is going to be coming to more platforms.
Yeah, it'll be on PC.
PS4 and PC.
The true.
Ah.
It was originally being made. This is actually what happened. Right, quick interesting story. It was originally being developed for PC, and Sony were interested in it, and they wanted a kind of exclusivity thing, and the devs were kind of, we don't know about that. But over the last summer, basically in the UK where these guys' offices are, it flooded, and their whole office fucking flooded. All their equipment, the whole thing got fucked up, and they didn't have enough money to finish the project, so they just had to go with Sony exclusivity as the only way to get it out there. And ever since then, they've all been standing on stage going, yay, you know, we're coming to PS4 and Sony for a while, it's going to be great. But, you know, inside they're like, motherfuckers. So,
If only it hadn't flooded.
yeah, if only God wasn't such a bitch about everything.
Damn you, white Jesus!
Where was Noah when we needed him? He was off doing nothing, lazy bastard.
This is the longest outro ever. Yes, Ghost, it is.
No, it's the best outro ever. You shut your
was.
mouth.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. We greatly appreciate it. And we will catch you tomorrow with Jess, Thursday with me for the Dawnbreaker Gaming Community Night. Anyone is welcome to join us, pending you have the game to play with us. Fuck it. If you want to hang out in the TS, you can do that too. Otherwise, we'll be back here next Monday for the next Game Speak. Everyone have a good night. See you later.
See you, nerds.
Play Bloodhorn.
Blood whore?
Bloodhorn.
Hoary
That's
blood.
a different game, mate, and only one person wins.
Waka waka waka!